If you're walking across a big field and you see something peculiar, if you take time to pick it up and look at it, it's art.
Sign is on to cross west San Antonio Street.
She worked for Shell, and she had a lot of white paper and those Shell pencils and no kids to play with, so they put me in the corner and told me to draw. So I would draw a goofy picture and I'd come up to show the adults and they go, "Oh, look what Tracy drew, go draw some more." You know, so you get encouragement that way. And she asked me, "What are you doing? What are you doing in your artwork?" Oh. So she said, "Look, I got 75 pounds of clay that the students left over. You go make something, I'll fire it for you." So I built a couple of little pieces, brought them over, and she fired them up, and I just kept going with it. Met a cowboy, you know, and a guy came into my studio there in Houston and asked me what I wanted for it. And I didn't want to sell it, you know, you don't want to sell your stuff. Yeah, anyway, he offered me a grand amount of, I think it was $160 for that. And I thought, that beats doing construction work. And I was living off of tuna fish and peanut butter back then, but I never slowed down after that. The time it took me to build that, we finally got it out. This is partly the foundry, but we finally got it out. I say it was almost still warm by the time we had the pre-unveiling there in Houston with it at a party. Oliver Twist in the park, that to me was like some big project, but now I could probably do that in a week. You know, it's just experience. It's constantly getting more experience with whatever you're doing. I keep a notebook. I always keep a spiral notebook, and when I have an idea, it might be in the middle of the night. If you don't grab it while it's passing, sometimes you forget. And I'll never run out of things because that notebook is going to be here after I go, before I finish everything I've written down. My son gives me ideas. I've got that that lion and that kitty cat where the Harlequin's afraid of the little kitty cat, and it says their wisdom is knowing what to fear and what not to fear. He had given me that inspiration, because when you're young, you really don't know what to fear. He's going to be standing on the platform, it'll hang on the wall, and this kind of a beatnik type figure is going to be looking in the mirror with all kind of masks laying around on the platform, mask in his hands, and he'll be wearing an alligator mask, and he's looking at himself in the mirror, and it will say along the edge here, "Who shall I be today?" That is, what kind of mask are we going to wear today?
Able to go ahead and fine-tune a couple of my pieces. One was a piece that I love very much for my classmates from the Citadel Military College that I went to school at, the Citadel Bulldogs. So I made them for my 40th reunion. So I ended up, with Trace's guidance, finishing, detailing, learning the process of rubber molding, mother molding, casting, finishing.
And I had this little girl that she was using a dowel stick for a rolling pin to roll out her Sculptor clay. That's the stuff you fire in your oven. And I told them, you don't roll out your clay with a dowel stick because it lumps. You use a rolling pin. So I came up and I said, don't roll it out with a stick. It looks like a cornfield. Where's the rolling pin? And I got it. I said, here, like this, roll it in. Now, what are you gonna make? And she said, cornfield. I've had a lot of interesting people that come through over the years. Oh boy. I had one woman that wrote pornographic novels. I had to cover her pieces up because I had a children's class come in after that. You know, she's hard to forget. You don't have to follow my rules, you know. In fact, I like it sometimes when you don't follow the rules, when you step out. If you've got creative ideas, like I said, it doesn't have to be classical, but it's good to learn the classics before you go into more conceptual type of things. You're not supposed to be happy with it. I always tell my students, suffer for your art. You must suffer. And once you get away from it, later you don't pick yourself to death, you know. I'm not going to retire. What am I going to do? Take up a hobby? Whatever man makes really is art. You know, the way you set a table when you're having a meal, even the way you walk into a room, you create. You're always creating, no matter what you do. What comes out of your mouth, you're creating. Everything is creation. But if you've gotten some things out there that will last for centuries, that's kind of a great feeling.